So emphasis means highlight of what matter. Where that matter is presented or disclosed, that matter is presented or disclosed in financial statements. That matter is presented or disclosed in financial statements. Just a minute. So that matter is presented or disclosed in financial statements. So a matter which is presented or disclosed in the financial statements, if you want to highlight, by the way, who want to highlight this? Is auditor want to highlight or management want to highlight this? Who want to? We are discussing this paragraph from whose angle? Auditor's angle. We are discussing this as part of standards on auditing. Standards on auditing are applicable to whom? Management or auditor? Obviously, auditor. Whoever is conducting audit, for them standards on auditing is applicable. Whoever is preparing accounts, for them standards on accounting are applicable. If someone asks you, accounting standards are applicable to whom? Auditor or management? Management. But auditor has to check whether accounting standards are complied or not. You have to verify that. But prima facie, who should satisfy accounting standards while preparing accounts? Who should prepare accounts? Management. See, in reality, for some private companies, we only prepare financial statements. In reality, because of so many limitations, we only prepare financials. But with respect to audit, standards on auditing, whoever do audit, for them standards on auditing is applicable. We are doing audit, for us it is applicable. So 706 standard, which covers about emphasis of matter paragraph, that is obviously applicable to the auditors. So emphasis of matter paragraph means it is a para which highlights a matter, emphasis, highlights of a matter. What is that matter? Where that matter is situated? A matter which is presented or disclosed in the financial statements. So if you are an auditor, there are financial statements, balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, notes, statement of changes in equity. You want to highlight some note point. One note point is there. You want to highlight. Getting it? If you want to highlight that note point, where you want to highlight? By the way, where are you highlighting? Are you highlighting in the financials itself? No, you don't. You can't touch financial statements at all. Financial statement is having one note point. Example. One note point is there. You want to highlight it. Where you will highlight it? Auditor's report. In auditor's report, you want to highlight that point. Okay, fine. So why auditor want to highlight? What would be the purpose the auditor want to highlight it? Can I know what is the purpose why auditor want to highlight? To understand this, first understand how difficult it is to interpret financial statements. First, let us understand that. Now, I'll open an annual report. ILFS itself I'll open because this is one of my favorite annual report, and which contains audit report also. I'll just show you the significance of emphasis of matter paragraph. Significance. Why emphasis of matter paragraph is so important. These fellows, they have not even given index. I need to search. So we have got the audit report. We have got the auditor's report. Now you see, this is the audit report of ILFS for the financial year 17-18. Okay, ILFS company, Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services Limited. Now I think it is liquidated almost. Okay, because this company was a default. This has made so many defaults. In fact, in India, NBFC defaults have started with this company. So many NBFCs are now becoming insolvent. That process has been initiated by ILFS. Okay. You see, there is a paragraph here. Emphasis of matter paragraph. Now you see how many they have emphasized, how many matters they have highlighted, A, B, C, D, E. 5 points they have highlighted. They have not just highlighted 1 or 2 points, 5 points they have highlighted. Now let us look at its financial statements. Okay, before I highlight, first let us observe the financial statements. Okay, this is audit report. Now we'll check when the financial statement starts. Yeah, Financial statement starts at 209 page. Here it is visible, right? 209 page. Everyone, can I get a reply? 209 page. In PDF document, I'm showing 209 page. Everyone, just confirm me once. Is this point visible? 209 page. Yes. Balance sheet has been started in 209 page. Now let us see where the notes to accounts will end. Okay, where the notes to accounts will end. This is P&L, 210 page. This is cash flow, 211th page. This is statement of changes in equity, cash flow only, sorry. And now notes to account starts at 213. Notes to account starts at 213. Now I'll go to the end of the notes. Wait, it will come. End of the notes will come after 100 pages. When you're solving accounts, no, especially notes to accounts, you'll prepare in schedule 3 problems. And your notes to accounts will be hardly 2 pages or 2.5, 3 pages, maximum worst scenario. You see in real life, this is how the notes to accounts is. The notes to accounts ends at with which page number you see? Oh my God. Just a minute. 55th note point, 332. 332, sorry, 56th point. 56th point, 334. Notes to accounts have started at 213th page. The notes to accounts is having totally 56 points. The notes is having totally 56 points. But ending page is 334. Which means, tell me, 213 to 334, almost 121 pages. The notes to accounts is 121 pages. By the way, what is notes to accounts? You have balance sheet P&L cash flow. In the balance sheet P&L cash flow, each and every item will have some explanation, right? Like fixed assets means what? What are all covered in fixed assets? What method of depreciation we are following? What is the useful life that we are following? What is the impairment it has? With respect to fixed assets, we need to present so much of information. That entire information is presented somewhere in the notes. You see, that's why you check here. You check here. Just a minute. So fixed assets, they mentioned it in 11th note point. 12th note point deals about intangibles. Same way, earning per share is dealt in the 34th page. So rest all other points are additional information about the company. So 56th note point is somewhere mentioned in 334th page. Now notes to accounts is 121 pages. Now tell me first of all, a fundamental question. Do you think a shareholder reads entire 120 pages of notes to accounts? Do you think a shareholder reads entire 120 pages? Obviously, no. Forget about whether he read 120 pages. First of all, can a shareholder who is a layman, can he understand the financial statements by reading them? Can he understand the financial statements by reading them? Can you give me a comment? Let us read, just for the sake of our idea, let us read one part of the notes to account, okay? One part of the notes to account we'll read. We will see how far we are able to understand. Now, there is a point. The group adopted the accrual concept in preparation of cash flow, consolidated financial statements. This is not a cash flow only. This is regarding consolidation, okay? Yeah. The preparation of financial statements of the consolidated entities require respective entities management to make estimates and assumptions in the reported amounts of assets and liabilities, including contingent liabilities, as of the date of the respective accounts and the reported income and expenses during the year. Actual result could differ from these estimates. Any change in those estimates is recognized prospectively. You see, I think hardly one or two of you would have understood this para. Many of us would have not understood this para. In fact, remember, we all are CS students. We all have basics of accounting knowledge. We all have basics of auditing knowledge. We all have some accounting standards, basic idea. In spite of it, when we read a paragraph, some random paragraph, we ourselves cannot understand what it is. Imagine a layman shareholder. Do you think he'll understand it? Obviously, the moment he starts reading one or two paras, he'll stop reading. He'll not read it. He'll not read further. He'll stop it. Don't assume shareholder will go through the financial statements. Don't think that. We prepare financial statements not only from point of view of shareholders. We prepare from general purpose. There are so many stakeholders out there. Shareholder may not read and understand, but a stock market analyst will read and understand. A chartered accountant who want to invest in my company can read and understand. So financial statements reading and understanding is not an easy process. That's why you see audit committee concept is there. Audit committee, who should be members of audit committee? Who should be members of audit committee? Audit committee must have 3 members from board of directors. Majority of them should be independent director and shall have the ability to read and understand financial statement. In audit committee, membership requirement, one of the requirement is the director should have the skill to read and understand the financial statements. Reading and understanding financial statements is not an easy task. It is very difficult. Even just because we qualified CA doesn't mean we can understand it easily. To understand the financial statements, you must understand entire Ind AS. You must understand entire accounting standards. Entire accounting standard, not important points in accounting standards. Entire accounting standard you have to understand. That's why we say accounting standards are very, very, very important, not from exam point of view. If at all you understand accounting standards thoroughly, only then you will read and understand the financial statements with ease. Now see, in these 56 points, which are spread over 121 pages, as an auditor, say I'm the auditor for ILFS, suppose, but I should read more. Can I say I can't understand why notes to accounts is 120 pages? Can I skip reading of notes to accounts and sign the audit report? By the way, tell me this point. As an auditor of the company, should I read the entire notes? Or even I can also behave like a shareholder? Give me reply, no? Arey yaar, give me reply, no? You're all sleeping. In spite of cough, I'm taking class here. Auditor should read or auditor can skip it. It's okay, he can take a choice, no issue. These auditors have to read, compulsory, it's not even optional. Auditor has to go through the entire balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, statement of changes in equity, notes to accounts, because you are going to certify them. In the audit report, first point, we have audited the financial statements of ILFS Limited, comprising balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, notes, statement of changes in equity. In our opinion, you are giving opinion on them. So you have to read. You can't ignore even one paragraph in the notes to accounts. You have to read entire. Only after reading entire notes to accounts, only after concluding, yes, entire notes to accounts has been properly presented, entire balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, you have verified it properly. Only after getting that conclusion, you have to give your opinion. You have to give your audit report. Now, when I'm reading this entire 120 pages, I know every point is important, but somewhere, some points, some 3 to 4 points, I felt they are not that simple to leave it. They're not simple to leave it. I think shareholders must look into this point. They have to go through this point. At any cost, shareholder has to look into this point. No doubt about it. This is a very, very important point. Whether he reads entire notes to accounts or not, I don't know, because I know very well that shareholders will not read the entire notes to accounts. Stock market analyst will not read the entire notes to accounts. Outside general public may not read entire notes to accounts. Okay, if they don't read entire notes to accounts, I'm fine. But there are few points in notes to accounts which I want everybody look into. So this is what my ideology now. I want 3 or 4 points in notes to accounts which everybody should look into. No doubt about it. They should look into these points. They're very important. They should take decision only after they read these notes to accounts. They should take a decision only after they look into these points. So I want to highlight few points like that. I'll show you now. So you see here. So auditors have highlighted which are the note points. You see note points, which of the note points they have highlighted. Note number 47 he has highlighted. Note number 42 he has highlighted. Note number 50 he has highlighted. 45 he has highlighted. 46 he has highlighted. Something like note number 50 we'll check. What is there in the note number 50 we will check. Okay. So what is there in the note number 50? This is 56, no? We have to go to the 50th note point. Each note point will be sometimes so lengthy. You see 55th note point, 4 or 5 pages was there. Only one note point is there in 4 or 5 pages. Yeah, 50th note point. So what is here? What is there here? Just we will read and understand at a glimpse, okay? One of the creditor and a shareholder of a subsidiary has filed an application under IBC, Insolvency Bankruptcy Code in NCLT, Delhi bench, against the subsidiary. So we have a subsidiary company. On the subsidiary company, the shareholder of that company filed a case for non-payment of his consultancy dues. So for him, consultancy dues were not paid. Okay, he filed a case. The case was admitted in September 2017 by NCLT and process of IBC got initiated. Insolvency process has been initiated. Under IBC, financial creditors have submitted claims of 215 millions, around 21 crores. Okay. However, resolution professional has accepted a claim of 211 million. So which means 21.1 crore. No operational creditor other than the claimant and 4 of his related parties have submitted their claim. Only 5 fellows have submitted their claim totally. And all of them together have agreed so and so amount finally. However, RP has accepted 22 million only. Resolvency professional, all that. So this is a big concept, resolvency process, all that is a very big concept. So the company explained one point here. There is one pending issue going on. There is one pending issue which is going on in a court. The company presented it honestly as it is in the notes to accounts in 50th point. Company presented it everything. They didn't hide anything. They're not misleading anyone. They mentioned that insolvency proceedings related data very clearly in the note number 50th point. Now tell me, you are the auditor. Will you qualify your opinion on this point? Will you qualify your opinion here? First tell me now. Think and answer. Will you qualify your opinion here? Company is involved in one contingent liability. That contingency related information is presented in the notes to accounts. Will you qualify your opinion? I'm asking. Someone is saying no. Yeah, correct. Next, remaining. Have to answer. Today, many are not replying here. Will you qualify this point? Tell me first of all, when should I qualify? When will I give qualified opinion? When there is a material misstatement. Yes or no? All of you agree, right? When there is a material misstatement, we will qualify. Suppose, see, what is a material misstatement? What is a misstatement? What I should present? What I should present? What is a material misstatement? Misstatement means what? What I have reported, what I should report as per applicable financial reporting framework. If I did not follow that framework, then there is a misstatement. Accounting standard 29 says whatever contingent liabilities you have to mention it. Mentioned. Did I fail with accounting standard 29? No. I have honestly disclosed everything. Where is mistake from my end? So can auditor qualify on this point? No. I mentioned everything pakka 100% accuracy. No, auditor cannot qualify on this. But somehow auditor want to highlight this 50th issue. He felt this 50th issue is so important. Every shareholder, every investor, general public should look into this point. Now what he did, he emphasized it. What he did? He emphasized it in the audit report. He emphasized it in audit report. You see here the wordings. We draw attention to the following. One of the point, note number 50. We draw attention to note number 50 of the notes to accounts, which describes the matter relating to insolvency proceedings. Are you getting the point? Why auditor has highlighted? Because he felt it is important. Now tell me one point. Think logically and answer. Is emphasis of matter para compulsory? Is auditor must use emphasis of matter para? Is it compulsory? Is it compulsory for the auditor to use emphasis of matter para? No excuse at all. Auditor must use emphasis of matter always. Is it right? Is emphasis of matter compulsory? No. See, this auditor felt to highlight 5 points. Maybe he would have felt these 5 points are important. Correct or not? Or the auditor would have felt these 5 points are important according to whom he highlighted. Suppose if at all you become the auditor of this company at that time, you would have highlighted 10 points. If your friend become the auditor of this company, he thought, hey, why to highlight? Nothing to highlight. It's okay. Let them read everything. Every point is important only. Why should I highlight? I won't highlight. Yes, that is also correct. This is a facility given to you. SA 706 is an emphasis of matter paragraph, is a facility given to you. If at all you want to highlight something in the balance sheet, P&L cash flow notes, you can. It's a facility given to you. If you want to use it. Otherwise, no need. But if at all you feel something genuinely, it is very important to be highlighted, just highlight it. If you feel you didn't get anything, you didn't find anything genuine to be highlighted, okay, no need to highlight. You look at Reliance company, they never highlight. They don't highlight emphasis of matter para. I'll tell you one more consequence. For me, if you ask me, sir, should we highlight or not? If you get a doubt, I say answer yes and no. Both I will say sometimes. Sometimes I'll say yes, sometimes I'll say no. But I'll stick on to the word no more. Why? Why we highlight? And anyhow, even if we highlight, people don't understand. Even if we highlight and tell them to read that point, do you think they understand it? Obviously no. In fact, it creates unnecessary confusion. Hey, why auditor highlighted this point only? As a layman, when I read this point, why auditor highlighted note number 50 only specifically? What's wrong with this point? People may get a wrong idea. Because you know what is emphasis of matter, you know this is not a qualification or objection. You know that. How do a layman knows this is not an objection raised by auditor? He only thinks why auditor has pinpointed only this point in so many points. I think something is wrong in this point. People may wrongly interpret. That's why some auditors know. They don't take chance. They don't highlight at all. They won't highlight. Emphasis of matter paragraph is not used by many auditors. I can say 70 to 80% of the auditors never use emphasis of matter paragraph. Why? Simple logic. If I highlight, unnecessary issues will come. By the way, highlighting here, note number 50, I'm highlighting here. Does it mean I am raising some objection on it? I am highlighting note number 50 right here. Does it mean I am raising some objection? Can I get a reply? Am I raising any objection on this point? Am I having any reservation on this point? Am I having any remark on this point? Am I having any qualification on this point? Can I? Is it so? Obviously not. We are not. So we are not raising any objection. We are not raising any qualification. We are not raising any reservation. We are not making any remark. We are only just highlighting, saying that it is something important. That's why you see, at the end of the matter, at the end of all the emphasis of matter, you see this point, you see, our opinion on the consolidated financial statements is not modified in respect of above matters. On the above matters, we don't have any objection. People may misinterpret when they look at the original note number 50 mentioned in the audit report. People may think wrongly, hey, something is there. Again, immediately when he look at the bottom, he will immediately, oh, auditor do not have any objection. He is saying there is no modification in the above matters. He do not have any objection. Fine. Okay, this is only for highlighting. This is how you have to present it. This is manner of presentation. This is the manner in which you have to present an emphasis of matter. You see here, the wordings we have used so beautifully, so cleverly. We draw attention to note number 50, which deals with so and so, and our opinion on that point is not modified. This is an emphasis of matter. I hope everyone understood. All of you, can I get a reply? Everyone confident? Conceptually, do you understand what is an emphasis of matter? Now, one more question. Company, in one of the note point, the company has mentioned, in one of the note point, Listen to this question carefully. You have to answer it. Okay. The company has prepared balance sheet, P&L, cash flow notes, everything fine. I'm the auditor. Now I'm reading the entire notes to accounts. In one of the note point, they did not disclose one material information. They did not disclose. They forgot to disclose. Now, as an auditor, I want to highlight that missing information. Whatever the information missing in the notes, I want to highlight that information in the audit report under emphasis of matter para. Whatever the missing information is there, in the notes to accounts, as an auditor, I want to highlight that in the audit report under emphasis of matter para. Issue is simple. Financial statements are there, notes to account is there. One point, management forgot to disclose. They did not disclose as per accounting standard properly. They forgot. Inadequate disclosure. I identified it. Now I am disclosing it under emphasis of matter para. Is it correct or not? Am I correct or not? If not correct, what should I do? If not correct, what should I do? Okay, someone is saying not correct. I cannot disclose it under emphasis of matter para. Someone is saying, yeah, correct. Okay, fine. If not correct, what should I do then? Management forgot to disclose some material information in the notes to accounts which I identified. What should I do now? What is that means? They forgot to disclose means what is that? Lokesh, I am not discussing about basis of opinion para at all. Oh, we need to disclose in basis for opinion. Why? Why you have to disclose in basis for opinion? First, you have to tell me what it is. See, now tell me. Sai Nitin said qualified opinion you have to give. That is correct answer. Sudhir Kumar is saying it is a misstatement. Kirti Manjulur is saying discuss with management once. Yeah, first I'll discuss with management. That point is missing. Suppose management said, no sir, the notes to accounts is finalized. Let us keep it like that. Then management forgot an information which they have to disclose. They have not disclosed. If you don't disclose an information which is required to be disclosed, I've told you one day in the beginning class, I've told you what is a misstatement. What is a misstatement? I've told you, if you remember, misstatement definition I've told you. Misstatement is amount, classification, presentation, disclosure. Mistake can happen in amount, mistake can happen in classification, mistake can happen in presentation, mistake can happen in disclosure of reported item, reported financial statements. Versus you have to compare with amount, classification, presentation, disclosure as per applicable financial reporting framework. So you have to disclose some information, but you did not report it properly. The difference is misstatement. When there is a misstatement, what auditor has to do? If it is a material misstatement, qualify. Auditor has to give a modified opinion. If there is a misstatement, auditor has to give a modified opinion. Why? Because even if disclosure is wrongly done, it's a modified opinion. Even if presentation is wrong, modification. Even if classification is wrong, you have to modify. So, even if management forgot to disclose something which is material but not disclosed, it's a misstatement. Auditor cannot highlight it under emphasis of matter. Auditor must give a qualified opinion. In other words, if you want to use an emphasis of matter para, there should not be any misstatement. There should not be any misstatement in that matter which you want to highlight. You see, now in this ILFS, they want to highlight note number 50. First, auditor should ensure this note number 50 is 100% accurately presented. There is no misstatement in this note number 50. Whatever amount, whatever classification, whatever presentation, whatever disclosure, everything is true and fair. Only after you get that clarity that there everything is fine, now you are eligible to highlight. In other words, emphasis of matter, which matter you can highlight? Only that matter which is true and fair. You cannot highlight a matter which contains a mistake. Where it contains a mistake, you have to qualify it. See, indirectly, when I'm qualifying opinion, now tell me, indirectly when I'm qualifying opinion, in basis for qualified opinion section, I will mention about that note point 50, something is inadequate, something is not, something is missing, that information is important. I'll mention here indirectly in the form of modification also I'm highlighting the mistake. This is also a type of highlighting, but it is not exactly like emphasis of matter. Emphasis of matter paragraph is a dedicated paragraph exclusively to highlight things that are there in the financial statements which are presented true and fair manner. Now, in emphasis of matter para, can you highlight any information other than financial statements related? This is another question. Can you highlight any information other than financial statements related? No. As an auditor, your duty is only to cover financial statements. First understand, you cannot cover any other report. You cannot cover any other document. Your duty is only to verify financial statements. That is what we say. No, we have audited the company's financial statements comprising balance sheet, cash flow, P&L, notes, statement of changes in equity. Apart from this, what are we auditing? Nothing, only financial statements. Obviously, if you want to highlight something, from where you can highlight? Only from financial statements you can highlight. If at all you want to highlight something in the financial statements, use emphasis of matter paragraph to highlight that issue. If you want to highlight something, make sure there is no material misstatement. And once you highlight, at the end of that point, after you highlighting it, after you write that point in audit report, at the end of the point, mention that your opinion is not modified. Okay, I'm only highlighting. I don't have any objection on this point. Your opinion is not modified. This is how you have to present an emphasis of matter para. This is what an emphasis of matter para. Now let us read the theory on emphasis of matter para. You see, emphasis of matter para and other matter para in the independent auditor's report. Okay. Now I'll unmute somebody who wants to read. This is very important. Okay, if you read this theory, I'm telling you, you will damn sure no need to read it again. After reading this theory, once again I'll sync it with the practice. Okay, yes. Who wants to read? Message no in chat box. Who will read? Srihari. Okay. Yes, Srihari.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. So can you read that starting from the heading onwards?
Yes. SA 706. Is it audible, sir?
Yeah.
Emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph in the independent auditor's report. 8. Definitions. Emphasis of matter paragraph. A paragraph includes in the auditor's report that refers to a matter presented or disclosed in the financial statements. Other matter paragraph.
No. A paragraph included in the auditor's report. It's a para included in the auditor report. That refers to a matter. It refers to an information. What information? Something which is presented or disclosed in the financial statements. What are all the financial statements? Balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, notes, statement of changes in equity. Yeah, other matter para. And not report.
Other matter para.
Usage of emphasis. Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
Part B. This one you read.
Usage of emphasis of matter paragraph.
Yeah.
Emphasis of matter paragraph is used to draw users' attention to a matter which is important for users' understanding financial statements in view of the auditor's judgment.
Wait a minute. This emphasis of matter para is used to draw users' attention. Whoever is reading financial statements, I want to draw their attention, which is important for them. It is important from them. From whose point of view? Is it from their point of view, auditor point of view? Auditor felt it is important for them. in the view of auditor's judgment, I want to highlight a point which is important for the users that they should not miss. Next, the auditor shall include.
The auditor shall include an emphasis of matter paragraph only he has obtained sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that the matter is not materially misstated in the financial statements.
You can use only this para only when the matter you want to highlight is not materially misstated. If at all the matter you want to highlight, a matter where there is a material misstatement, you should not use emphasis of matter. You should qualify. When there is a mistake, you have to qualify. You cannot use emphasis of matter paragraph as a substitute for qualified opinion. Completely violative, prohibited. Emphasis of matter is what? Some information is there, completely presented, company honestly presented, but that point is important. So people want to read it, people have to read it. Okay, highlight it. Point C, you read. Examples are not required anymore. Yeah, C.
Okay. Manner of presentation of emphasis of matter.
Yeah.
Include the paragraph within a separate section of auditor's report with an appropriate heading that includes the term emphasis of matter.
Wait. Include the paragraph within a separate section of audit report. Now you see in ILFS, this is an audit report now. Audit report, we are having a separate section now with a heading clearly called emphasis of matter now. What are they saying? Here? Include the term emphasis of matter. We are also, in reality also it was there. Yes or no? Next, shall
express the matter being emphasized, highlighted, and give the reference to such matter in the financial statements. Accordingly, this paragraph shall refer only to information presented or disclosed in the financial statements.
And now you see, give reference to such matter in the financials. We are not only just saying that we are giving reference, note number 50. We draw your attention to note number 50. We are giving specific reference to the financial statement point which we want to highlight. Yeah, next. Also state
the auditor's opinion is not modified in respect to the matters emphasized.
Yes, we are also saying in reality, our opinion is not modified. Here they are asking, after you highlight, mention the note point clearly. Also tell that you don't have an objection on it. We are saying all this in the reality. Who said auditing is a theory subject? Yeah? So practical. Every point you can say practically. Whatever until now I spoke, I showed you each and everything practically. Theoretically, we have explained, we understood terminology, sentences, and we also have seen practically exactly being implemented. It's a most practical subject, only if you understand it in proper way. So this is about emphasis of matter para. I hope until now everyone understood. It's over. Emphasis of matter is over. I hope everyone understood. As simple as such, emphasis of matter is over.